Well, hello everyone, and welcome back to an episode of These Are The Voyages. I'm the Captain, Captain Chase McKinney, and joining me once again, friends of mine, not enemies of mine friends, Commander Eric and Commander David. How are you guys?
I caught what you did there, Chase.
I have no idea what you're talking about. No idea.
Oh, Chase, I have to ask you something right off the start here.
Oh, frick. Okay,
No.
what is it?
Were you in San Antonio today?
No?
No, okay. I was driving home from work.
Okay.
There was somebody riding their bike on the sidewalk, and I swear it was you. If it wasn't you, it was your long lost twin or your doppelganger, but I swear it was you.
Yep, definitely not in San Antonio today.
Okay,
He rode his bike all the way down.
Yeah, I don't even know if you could make it back in that amount of time, in 4.5 hours.
With my bike? Probably
I don't
not.
even know if you could drive it in that time, if I'm being honest.
I mean, I don't know if I could either.
I mean, there's lots of traffic between these two places, so
Yeah.
theoretically you could make it.
Theoretically, I could, but I've driven from North Texas to Riverwalk area, and yeah, it's a little bit of a hike.
Yeah.
So no, I've been
From
here
where you
adulting
are,
all day.
You can avoid the Metroplex from where you are, right?
Yeah.
You don't have to drive through that mess.
If I really wanted to, yeah,
Yeah.
for sure, yeah. Yep, I have been here in my office, my casa all day doing adult junk. So there's that. So no, that was not me on a bicycle.
Hey, you're a long lost twin, then. I know you don't have any siblings.
I don't. That's cool. Yep.
I swear, it looked just like you.
Eric was doing people watching, and he saw me on a bicycle, or so he thought. Oh man. Well, fellas, apart from Eric doing bicycle watching, what have y'all been up to? David's like, I've been doing the same thing. I've been watching random people on bicycles too.
No.
That look exactly like Eric.
Our dog sometimes gets confused when he sees other bald people. He does that, look up at me and
Yeah.
looks over at that other person.
Yeah. Anyway, just another normal nothing burger of a week for you guys.
It was my wife's birthday today, so we went out and had dinner.
Very nice.
Very nice.
Steakhouse that had been around since 1955.
Oh, nice.
Nice.
I love a good
It was
steak.
it was very good. I didn't have super high expectation, but they blew me away personally. So
That's good.
David, you should have taken the night off then, right? You just really wanted to be here with us.
yeah, we have a child to tend to, so as many opportunities as I can take to get away.
I mean, that there is truth to that, by the way.
Yeah, they're both effectively in bed right now, so it's fine. I took today and tomorrow off, so
All right.
Wow, that must be real nice.
yeah, it is.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, in my line of business, you can just take time off, willy nilly whenever you want.
Yeah.
No, so speaking about going into the office and stuff like that,
Here we go.
I've been
Red
complaining
alert.
about this new law that they have here in Texas, right? Higher education, we have to be there 40 hours in person, and I'm like, people are like, boo hoo hoo hoo, right? I went to my campus on last Friday, right? The first Friday of the semester, because I was like, okay, well, we have to do this, right? Just this is the law, right? They've been harping in this for 2 weeks, right? This is the law. You got to be here. There was not a damn person there. I walked through that entire building and looked at every office. There was one other person other than me.
Was it the president?
No, I'm talking about in like the faculty offices.
Okay, well,
Right, because
hey,
this is a rule. This is a law for faculty, right? Because staff, they're there every day anyway. But like, there was one other person. I was like,
I was gonna say, man,
this is some.
I'm just waiting for like a comment to pop up somewhere on when this episode comes out. It's like, I am like an official for the state of Texas. Thank you very much for outing all of your colleagues.
yeah, man, way to be a team player.
Well, that's through the magic of editing. We can just make this part go away. Pshaw, we're not live. Even if we were live, like, how does that work on? Like, they have like a buzzer or something they can fill time with if they say like a bad word on live. You know what I'm talking about? Like radio stations have some.
They're on a delay. So.
Yeah.
Well, but they have like a doohickey. I've like some device that they can like. The producer can like push a button, and you might hear like 2 seconds of dead air, and it's because
Well, I mean, like that's the thing.
Something
Like
they weren't supposed to.
I mean, that's the thing with radio. Like, you have like 40,000 minutes of like music, and then they're just waiting. They're just waiting to like do their little bit that's like a minute, 2 minutes, 5 minutes long, so they can have all that time to edit it before it actually goes live. Basically,
Well,
that's why they have like on-air producers. Like, they're recording it, and they're going to do like on-the-fly edits, and then like play the thing.
Well, I'm talking about like more like talk radio.
And that's what I'm saying, man. Like the radio stations that I listen to, like that's basically what they're doing. Like that's why you really have like your 1 or 2 minute sound bites.
Oh, okay. I thought the job of the producer was to like keep time. Like, all right, we got to pay the bills, get to the commercial.
I mean, they do that too.
I think that's how it was more so in the past, but then people just started saying dumb stuff. So.
Okay.
Basically.
Until
It's like
we're
you
like
ruined it.
The soundboard with the pre sounds in there.
Oh, I got sound. Can y'all hear this stuff? Like, I don't even know if y'all can like hear like soundboard stuff. Like, let's just use an Eric thing. Ericism. Do y'all hear this?
Filler!
Yeah.
I didn't know you had that on the soundboard.
I do. You made the soundboard, man.
Nice.
I need to use that more often then. This was my. I really enjoyed this one back in the day. We don't really use this one anymore, or much at all, but.
Yeah.
Yep. Or we can just be really sad together. Here's another one just for the heck of it. Yeah. You're welcome.
That's a good one.
Yep.
You ought to play the crash and burn noise for this run of episodes we're having. Well, the womp womp, but like, the crash and burn.
Yeah. Hold on, let me see if I have some other fun ones we can play with. This is great podcasting, by the way, y'all. I don't know what this one does. What's this one do? Let's find out. Like, again, this is just great.
Yeah, you don't even know how your own soundboard works.
Wow. Isn't this great?
Oh boy. All the 90s, early 2000s sound effects.
So, are there any like pre-programmed sounds
That's
that
what
come
I'm-
into that, or
That's what I'm playing right now.
Oh,
Are
the
these-
pre ones.
Yeah. It was the bank that came with the thing. So, like, Eric, if you say something particularly brilliant, we can do this.
So,
We can also do this. Little dreamy kind of
is that
sounds.
what that was?
Welcome back.
That sounds like a 90s.
Yeah.
Anyway, we'll just stick to the Trek stuff that I have programmed in already. But this I think this one is my favorite.
Filler! Filler! Filler!
It gets progressively louder too, which is what I love about it.
Well, I think when I say it get louder. That's the point.
It's true. I actually had to bring your levels down when I was putting that in the soundboard. Guys, there we are. I hope everyone enjoyed the soundboard. I was just goofing around. Fellas, you want to get into this?
Yeah.
Friends of mine.
Yeah.
All right, friends of mine. Everyone, welcome to the show. Welcome to the podcast. We are going into spoilerific territory, so this is your red alert as we talk about the 9th episode, the second last episode of Season 3 of Star Trek Strange New Worlds, Terrarium. So, Eric, let's just start out like we have been this whole dang season.
Yeah. This is has there ever been a less original season of television? Literally, we just remade another episode. We remade a lot of things to put them into this episode. This is essentially Enemy Mine, the classic movie, right? But Star Trek has done it. The Enemy and the Next Generation. We did it in Gravity and Voyager. We did it the episode with Trip and the other alien.
Dawn.
Dawn.
Okay. Yep.
Darmok. Darmok, and there's also a little bit of Arena thrown in there.
Yep.
For good measure, right? It basically is a remake of Arena, in a sense, too.
It's prequel / remake. Yes.
This show. Did the writers strike have something to do with it? They're just we can't come up with any new ideas, so we're just gonna pull some of these old ideas and rework them with these characters. I'm beginning to think something like that must have happened, because I just don't understand how basically half of the episodes of this season have been completely unoriginal.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a thing. But yeah, we have another Enemy Mine episode, which is it's a choice, apparently. And
look, there's nothing wrong with Enemy Mine. It's a really good concept. I mean, I just would have I don't know, did we do anything super new with it that we haven't seen before?
No.
And when I watched The Enemy from The Next Generation, I feel like it's, I don't know, for some reason I think it's unique enough that I don't know.
So I have this. I saw this thing on the Twitterverse, the Xverse, whatever. Let's just use it. So I saw this thing, and I want to bring it up now. And this isn't necessarily meant to be a hot take or be an angry nerd troll or anything like that, but I do want to get your genuine idea, just knowing how this season's gone compared to the prior two. There was someone on X that said, I feel like hashtag Strange New Worlds is for people who like the idea of Star Trek, but not actual Star Trek. Agree or disagree?
Well, I disagree, because I think this show has proven that it can deliver some of the best Star Trek that we've ever seen. And I think there are fantastic episodes in here, right, throughout all 3 seasons. I think all the seasons have good. Even this season that we're bemoaning right now has good episodes in it, right? There's definitely things that we have rated highly. I just think that it's inconsistent. And I get it, when you're making a 26 episode season, yeah, you're probably going to be inconsistent. You're going to have some clunkers in there, right? But if you're going down to 10 episodes. I think that's why television shows kind of made that change, right? You see the prestige television does like 8 to 13 episodes, right? So they can sort of trim out those clunkers, and that's why they take 2 or 3 years to make, because they're trying to like make sure they don't have any of those clunkers. But I just feel like they're popping up a lot more, and it's so because this show started out so strong, right? That first those first 6 or 7 episodes, like, and then it just set the bar so high.
It did.
So I'm rambling here, but the answer is no. I don't agree with that statement. I think this is definitely Star Trek for people who like Star Trek.
Okay.
Well, it's Star Trek for people who like Star Trek because it's a rehash of other Star Trek. So if you didn't like other Star Trek, then you're not going to like this, because a lot of it's just a rehash or, you know, some sort of amalgamation of things that we've seen.
Sure. I mean, I think that there has been to a certain extent this diluting that's taken place in this show, like with like the rehash that you're pointing out, and like recycling of ideas, not just within Star Trek, but just within sci-fi in general. Like we were making comments just like the other week about like Stargate, I think was like one show that we had cited I think I cited that actually. But like, yeah, just other sci-fi that's out there. And yeah, like the last 2 weeks, like we weren't singing its praises too well. But like, you know, episode, what was that? 6, the Salat episode, like when they're having to deal with, was it with the Salat episode? No.
Yeah, the Salat episode.
Yeah. Okay.
The Kirk episode.
Yeah, the Kirk episode. Like that's one that like we thought was like the best of like the season so far. So yeah, like what happened? Like what happened to that writer's strike in that period of time? Anyway. I mean, we still have, you know, one more episode, of course, for the season, and then like, you know, another 16 episodes after that to, you know, land the plane and hope it goes well. I'm probably going to distract Eric with this request, but I know we're going to be talking about this here in a second. But, you know, at the end, I do want to kind of maybe like lean on Eric on this one as we maybe talk about the end about middle seasons. Because this is effectively the middle season of the series, because we know we're going to get a 4 and a 5, right? So like not every show that's been in this era of Trek has had 5 seasons necessarily. I think that's like the goal. Like Picard had 3, obviously, but we had Lower Decks. Lower Decks had 5, I think. Disco certainly had 5. This one's gonna have 5. So I'd like to maybe at the end kind of compare like the middle seasons and just kind of like look by the numbers in terms of like how middle seasons have fared in terms of like average ratings based on what we've done. And we can't really look like on the fly, like with like the IMDb's and the Rotten Tomatoes, but like I would like to kind of revisit that at the end, maybe either before or after we do like our evaluation thing. So,
okay.
So anyway, guys, Terrarium, so in our prediction episode that we did prior to this season starting, we're like, man, that's gonna be some kind of Gorn thing, right?
Right.
It has to be some kind of Gorn thing. Like we're gonna revisit the Gorn. Something's gonna happen with it. Was this what you were expecting with coming back to the Gorn thing? I'll start. No.
No, but like we also knew, they told us there was going to be an Ortegas episode, right? We've been asking for that, other than give us something other than I fly the ship, right? And I know Chase was like, I think What is Starfleet was the Ortegas episode. And I was like, that can't be the Ortegas episode.
Oh, it was an Ortegas episode, just not Erica.
Yeah, so we got this. And I know we said we got to revisit the Gorn, and I know most of us were thinking maybe Captain Patel. We would revisit it in that way because of like the other episode, like Through the Lens of Time. We were thinking, well, we got to do something with that, right?
Yeah.
But we were also saying we have to like somehow talk about Ortega's PTSD, right? She had this PTSD from her moment in the premiere episode, and in the next episode, she literally was insubordinate, caused harm, like put them in danger, put the ship in danger, got relieved from duty, and then that was just dropped, right? They just dropped it. In like the next episode, we need her back on the rotation, so she's gonna be back. And like I'm still not sure they actually have dealt with her PTSD, because I don't really feel like this episode, maybe like on a surface level, like touched on it, but not really.
As someone that works with trauma, it's slowly becoming a specialty of mine in my line of work. The thing that I know that it's a show and you have to do so much within time constraints that you have. But at the same time, like, this is kind of serialized. It's more episodic than it's serialized, but there is a serialization to it. And we had the glimmers, right? Like, of course, we have like the traumatic event of Gorn hand going into abdomen of Erica in the premiere of the season. We have the kind of being shy and lurking thing in Wedding Bell Blues, and then going to the gym and kind of having something going on there. And we kind of have some attitude stuff in the next episode. But then like we kind of just say, we kind of hand wave it away. And that's basically it. And now we're kind of here. I think all of us can agree that we've heard something to the effect of fight or flight at one point in our life. And it's fight, flight, freeze, or fawn is like the typical language that you hear whenever you're dealing like with trauma. So fight, like your adrenaline's pumping, you're just ready to kind of engage and kind of just take it head on. Flight, you're running. Like you're just escaping, you are removing yourself from the situation. Freeze, like you're paralyzed. You can't really move. You can't make a decision. You can't act, basically. Fawn is newer language that's coming into traumatology in the sense of you go along with stuff so that you don't rock the boat, basically. If you like the person or persons or organization that has been the source, the cause of like the trauma that a person has experienced, they might just kind of go along with it because they don't want to get into any more trouble, so to speak. They don't want there to be any more pain that's inflicted upon them or others. So they just kind of go with it and just try and keep the person happy. And you kind of see some of this stuff. Like, I know I'm just kind of jumping right into like the planet and like the Gorn stuff. You kind of get some of it, but I don't know if you do. Like, I mean, it just happens so quickly. Like, there's like stuff that's traumatized me, and I'll get like some kind of stimuli to it, and I just kind of like freeze and get angry sometimes at like some of those stimuli that I deal with. And like here we have someone who is quite literally traumatized, like with a Gorn hand going and about killing her, making her bleed out, and then there's like one right there, and just starts going right into it. So I don't know how well, I'm just kind of like talking out loud, just kind of verbal processing. I really don't know how well the trauma was really represented, especially with her healing. Trauma itself, people kind of expect it to be like this straight line, like on a continuum. It's more like a freaking roller coaster. Like, you want it to be a straight line where you just go from point A to point B, but in reality, you start out going straight, and then you do like a loop, and then you double back, and you come. It's like a freaking pretzel. Like you're going all over the place. When you think you're making progress, you're kind of moving back, but then you're moving forward. If that makes any sense. I feel like I'm rambling right now, but I just wanted to kind of get that out while it was fresh in my mind. I don't know if that makes any sense. I'm jumping way ahead. I'm sorry, guys, but there we are. I just think the trauma part is important to talk about, because I know that Eric was probably going to ask me at some point about it.
Well, I like to refer to experts.
I'm an expert? Oh, shoot. We're all in trouble.
You have 3 special letters after your name and 2 special letters before your name, both of which denote expert.
If you say so. I appreciate it.
Neither of David nor I have those 3 letters after our name.
Well,
That's true.
okay. All right. So, should we start at the beginning? How do we want? We've been kind of just going all over the place the last few weeks, and I've kind of enjoyed it, honestly. Like, I've enjoyed kind of how we've been talking about it lately.
Honestly, here's my question. Why does she go on this mission alone? Right? Because, like, isn't it against Starfleet protocol to have somebody go on a mission alone?
Yeah, grams matter.
Isn't it? Like, this is a legitimate question, though. Did the episode ever, like, mention why she was going? I know it's something like Spock was overweight.
Well, they were talking.
Why did it have to be? Okay, but we don't have another science officer or somebody who can go on this mission?
Yeah.
I don't know either. Like, why not Chapel? I mean, wasn't Chapel, like, doing, like, some kind of fellowship with Corby and, like, anthropology junk?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I mean, she's still part of science division. Like, why the heck not?
I don't know. But so the mission here is just fly the shuttle into this nebula, I guess, drop off a beacon or a buoy, and then fly out, and that beacon and buoy inside of there, whatever, is gonna send back data.
Apparently.
Yeah.
Okay.
Basically.
Well, this seems simple enough, right?
Yeah.
I mean, and then a wormhole appears out of nowhere.
Yeah, that just seemed like too much of a nod to Deep Space Nine to me.
I mean, we got wormholes in every Star Trek.
I know, but like not being able to predict a wormhole just popping up out of nowhere, taking you, could be the other side of the universe for all we know.
Could be another universe.
Anyway,
I don't know. And anyway, she gets trapped in it. She crash lands on a planet.
she do.
On a desolate planet.
I loved her joy in this. Okay, so like, yeah, she crash lands. Okay, she makes the best out of a crappy situation, but immediately she goes to her training. Like, okay, what do we got to do? Right? Water, food, shelter. Boom, got one of them. All right, sweet. And then like she starts tinkering. Like there's so much tinkering by her in this episode. Like if things don't work out for her as the person that flies the ship, she might have a thing or two in like engineering. I'm just saying.
Well, is that why they've been setting her up as like the gearhead, right?
Perhaps.
They've been kind of laying the groundwork. Oh, she makes her bicycle, she makes her motorcycle, and she does her little tinkering stuff, and they've been setting it up so it makes sense that she can do things like this in this episode.
But shouldn't most Starfleet officers have some sort of, I mean, survival knowledge, but also probably more knowledge into potentially other systems and solutions, though? Because like my thought has always been, it's not really just a one track thing. Like, you don't go just into your command classes and never take a rudimentary engineering class or something like that. So I mean, you're right. They obviously have set her up as being a bit of a tinkerer. But I guess for me, I would just expect almost everybody to kind of have that ability potentially, or at least that training. Maybe they don't remember it all, but they should have some of that training.
No, that makes sense. And I like the idea that, like, she was very competent and very capable in this situation. And they didn't make her like, oh my God, what do I do? I can't fly the ship and I don't know what to do here. I'm like lost. I think I would have had a major issue with that. But I think the fact they showed her being so good at this. Okay, here's what I got to do. Like you said, I got to do this, got to do this, got to do this. And she got right to it. And she did all those things.
One thing I just want to go back to the competence part. This isn't directly like in universe necessarily, but I want to refer to something or an idea that Roddenberry had at one point about the why there are more officers than there are like enlisted personnel in Starfleet, and it's because I think the general idea was he wanted every person aboard a starship to basically be a capable and competent like astronaut, basically. So, again, like the competence piece, like if you're wanting like your character to be in this future world, this utopian future, then yeah, you are going to be well-rounded in terms of like what you do and how you approach your work. So, if your major is command division, then hopefully you're going to have a minor in science or something. I don't know. But yeah, Spock weighs too many ounces, even though he maintains a weight variance of 1.8 kilograms.
Yeah.
But did this planet that Ortegas lands on, did this remind you at all of like Pitch Black, like Chronicles of Riddick type stuff?
Yeah, kind of. I guess I could see that.
I mean, yeah, it didn't come to my mind, but when you say it, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Except it's dark there, right? It's not. It doesn't have 3 suns.
No. Yeah, it's a little dark. So yeah, she creates this water condenser thing like out of parts, is able to get some water, and so she's got the shelter with her shuttle. She's got water with her thingy that she's thrown together. She's MacGyvered something. Cool. And now we got to go find food. So she goes searching. And that's when things kind of get interesting, right? Like she's looking and she notices along the way there's a Gorn like hissing and making noises and junk like that. And trying to stay one step ahead of it. And then we have like this like weird like worm centipede something or another thing that's about to jump up and get her, and the Gorn actually intervenes and saves her life.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And then we have this interesting dynamic basically the rest of the time of like, don't I trust you, basically. Noticing that the Gorn has a limp and has been here for a little while from the information that we're gathering all along the way.
Yeah, and they take time to essentially bond, learn to trust each other,
Find a way to communicate.
Yeah.
So Ortegas takes apart her tricorder and is able to like jury rig it or something so it can give yes/no answers.
Oh, I have a serious question. I don't know. I can't remember where the technology was at this point when it came to the universal translator, so someone please clue me into this. Was the universal translator supposed to capture like the noises, the syntax, the whatevers, and spit something back out to where it would work back and forth at this point in with the technology, or is that not till later?
I
mean, I think it works. I mean, it worked in the original series, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, even
Enterprise.
Enterprise had Hoshi's. Towards the end, they had a whole big thing about her universal translator, so
And I guess that's where I'm going with this. Is I was just a little confused as to why we had her character doing effectively a yes/no setup
instead of
versus
like
just
full speech.
yes.
Well, but I think that has more to do with like, so even, I mean, rolling back to Enterprise, which is really early, they still had trouble with certain things, and it would learn over time to do that. Conceivably, though, the Federation really hasn't like been setting up talks with the Gorn, so I would only assume that the UT of this time probably wouldn't know what to make of Gorn. Now, if you got a ton of it and you were able to make some commonality, it would. But in this case, it's like, can we get on the level of at least a very simple form of communication?
Yeah,
And
that's how I read it.
Well, it also helps too that we find out later that the Gorn actually understands Ortegas, though, because she has sort of studied humans a bit. So she has a little bit more information on our speech. So that probably also helps, I would assume. Maybe?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But, I was watching this scene, and I was just reminded of Shrek.
Okay.
Oh, you're a girl, Gorn. You a girl dragon. Of course you are.
That's
My
good,
wife
Eric.
made that comment as I was like, she's the one who said it out loud, but I was thinking it too.
Oh, you're a girl
You a
dragon.
girl dragon. You a girl
You're a
Gorn.
Of course you are.
Just two ladies bonding, playing chess.
We can
Okay,
do each other's
so-
hair if we had
Okay,
to.
but hold on. You're in like a dire life or death situation, right? Like you gotta get out of this place because Ortegas, she discovers that the eccentricity of this orbit is very high, right? It's very close to 1, right? For those people out there, eccentricity of 0 would be a perfect circle. The further you get away from 0, closer to 1, the more ellipsy, right? The more elongated, right?
He's doing an oval thing, y'all.
Yeah, the more elongated, right? So high
Yeah.
eccentricity here.
He needs a whiteboard.
Well,
Do you have a whiteboard? Get a whiteboard.
We'll do. I got one at my office. We'll do this next week, and I'll draw the picture.
Bring a whiteboard from now on.
Okay, all right.
I need that
I'll
prop
have
in
one.
your
I
life.
got the handheld ones. I can
Okay.
just draw it and I can hold it up here.
Keep
No,
going.
so it's a very flat ellipse, right? And just we're gonna like get really, really close to this gas giant, and we're gonna like die essentially, right? We gotta get off of here quickly. But yeah, we have time to play chess. We have time to play this other game, right? That each of us is better at the other person's game than we are at our own game, right? And Ortegas, I'm going to eat the little piece at the end, and we're going to bond. Like, do we really have time for this? I get it's a fun little moment. It's like,
Well, to be fair, wasn't the Lady Gorn, wasn't she like waiting to heal? Because they were putting like more of that powder crystal stuff
Yeah.
on the leg.
yeah, it's like when you like touch your wound. Ah, that stings. You know when you
Yeah.
like clean
Yeah.
your wounds.
Yep. I do. Yeah, that mess does hurt for sure. Yeah. So we do have a plan, and it's eventually like we besides the bonding, right? Like they realize that they're both pilots, they're both ladies, and I just want to backtrack for a second. I did kind of like the distinction. Maybe it's a distinction without a difference. I don't know, but like Ortega said, you study your enemy. Disagree. You like to understand. Or no, you study your prey. No, you like to understand your enemy. That's what it was. And I kind of like that. Like that brief kind of like reframe, like way of kind of describing it. Just because I think it went along with like the making it a little bit less adversarial, even though it very much is an adversary. Like they are each other's adversaries, apart from the circumstance.
Yeah, I think the only thing that it maybe seems a bit off, though, is how much sort of anger and rage Ortegas was carrying around seemingly a pretty short while ago, and now we can play games.
And that's
we can connect, you know?
Yeah.
It's like the connection thing seemed kind of fast. Like I'll say, like, one general observation about this episode for me is it felt like the pacing was really quick. Like for almost an hour episode, it seemed like pretty rapid. And it doesn't really matter if I say it now or at the end. I actually thought this could be a candidate for a cliffhanger episode where you actually like pace out the whole on planet thing, and then the rescue thing happens next season, because ultimately, like, what we're marching toward is a rehash of something we saw in the original series, but you could open that up a little bit and make it like a little bit more meaningful potentially, if you know what I mean. I don't know if you agree, but I felt like that when I ended the episode, I was like, I almost wish that this was the cliffhanger into season 4.
Well, I see what you're saying, and I agree with that, but is Ortegas, a character who we've never had an episode about, getting stranded on a planet, is that like a big enough story to end your season on? Is it a moment that's worthy of that?
Well, it depends on what else you build. I mean, because the whole thing is like, we have said that we have basically like put the Gorn to sleep, but is that really true? And then we also have another species come up in this episode as well, and it's like, were you going to make that a bigger deal? It looks like not after this episode, but like, I think that there are other things you potentially could have built upon that maybe you could have made it a little bit bigger. But you're right. I mean, if it was just like Ortega's stuck on a planet, who this is kind of the first like real look at her, probably not. But I think some of the other stuff you could have elongated on in a 2-parter if you had that wherewithal or those ideas, and maybe it could have been. But yeah, I mean, as it sits, no.
Let me ask you y'all this. We've been clamoring for an Ortegas episode for a while now, and by all accounts, unless they're a background character in original series somewhere, Ortegas is not in original series. I don't think that's too far of a reach. Would y'all have been upset, or no, sorry, let me back up. Would y'all have been okay if this would have been the episode that Ortegas would have bit the dust?
Killing characters, and I'll say this, is easy. It's easy to kill a character, right? I know people say, "Oh, it takes guts to kill out." No, it doesn't. It's easy writing. To a sense, it's almost like lazy writing. Oh, we'll just kill them, right? Oh, we'll just kill them, and like you get desensitized to it after a while. And I know in this day and age, in the world we live in, I don't think you can just go around killing female characters. I don't want to get too into the politics and everything like that, but I think because like La'an doesn't make it to the original series, right?
That we know of, yeah.
Una doesn't make it to the original series, right? So Pelia doesn't make it there. So that's she's not in this episode, but what's her name that sits is the navigator?
Oh,
in a lot
Mitchell.
of these episodes. Mitchell, right? She's a bridge crew member. She doesn't make it there, right? That's at least 4, female characters that
Right.
don't make it another couple of years, right? For whatever reason, in universe. So I don't think you want to just go off killing characters, especially when you just gave them their first episode, right? I think you run into issues there.
Yeah.
This is what I think. But I understand when you're in traumatic situations, when you're in
High stress,
dire situations, I feel like
Yeah.
you can make bonds quicker than you can in normal times. I
Sure.
think I don't know if you ever watched The Walking Dead, but there's the Gabriel, the preacher. He makes that point in one episode. He says, when we were out there early on, anytime we came across somebody, we bonded super quickly. But then when we build our communities and we have communities and we're not in immediate danger, why is it that we can't bond as quickly? So I understand how you mean the pacing. It felt really quick, and it did. It absolutely did, especially for how much rage and hostility Ortegas had towards the Gorn, right? They're just monsters, is what her entire opinion was. But
Yep.
I feel like when you're in a high stress situation, you can do things that you wouldn't do otherwise.
Mm-hmm. I know that we're going to get to the way this ends eventually, but it does make me wonder if this episode sets up maybe a choice to leave Starfleet, with the stuff that Eric has been dealing with this season, certainly her experience with the Gorn, again how it started out this season, and then the family kind of conflict and dynamic that came to light full on, I think, with her little brother. And then it just makes me wonder, are they setting up an exit where she goes from being an officer to being, a civilian again? Maybe not right away. Maybe that's early season 4 or something, but she's not going to be an original series. So there's got to come a time when she just kind of rides off in the sunset.
Yeah, but just because she's not in the original series doesn't mean she isn't conceivably out there, though.
Well,
you can change ships.
Sure.
Think about it. If you lose Pike, are you all necessarily gonna stick together forever? Or
if you're original series crew, you're going to do a whole series and 6 movies together.
Well, they didn't technically didn't really lose Kirk really until Generations. So, you're talking about losing your captain, in a potentially horrendous situation, and while you do have Scotty and Spock, it's not inconceivable that the rest would be potentially up for promotion, go to different ships. So I don't really like the vibe of Ortegas leaving. I think Starfleet is kind of like her now. It's a little bit too much. It's her connection to things.
Sure.
At this point, she left her family for a reason, and Starfleet kind of became the family that she was sort of escaping from, and now she's reconnecting. Yeah, but I don't necessarily see it. And as far as killing off characters, again, you could do the sacrificial lamb with Mitchell at some point, because that's very low impact, but I don't really see them doing that. Pelia could just go on another acid trip and just freak out and go somewhere else,
She could try to. And fail for the 4th time at least.
Yeah. But I don't really see the need for axing a character, I just think you can go to another ship, because conceivably there is promotional ladder, so I could kind of just see them moving on.
Yeah.
Okay. Yep. So we devise a plan. We're getting off this planet, right? We're gonna
Set the planet on fire.
Ignite the atmosphere.
Yep.
And this is one of the things that always bugged me. Like, our Starfleet characters are able to just use alien technology that they've never seen before super easily. Like, Ortegas was able to fly that Gorn shuttle, no issues. She'd never been in it. She doesn't even know what the controls do, right? But, like, I guess Travis Mayweather was able to do that with the Suliban little cell ship thingy, right? So, like, okay, I get you're a pilot. There are certain basics to flight that you can figure out, right? I don't really have an issue with that, but Ortegas is just able to, like, build an antenna array, a communications array from alien technology that she's never seen before, and she's able to program it all and do all. Like, okay, I get we're trying to get off of there, but why can't you? Why couldn't the Gorn pilot do these things with her own technology? I get her legs hurt, but that doesn't mean that you wouldn't be able. Conceivably, the Gorn would train their people in survival skills. I mean. And I get there's that point that Gorn maybe doesn't want to get off this planet because they're seen as weak, like because they're injured, and so maybe that's why she doesn't want to fix it. That's why maybe she hasn't up until it looks like the Gorn has maybe been there for a little bit. But I don't know. Ortegas is able to just instantly build something, communications array, and then figure out how to ignite the planet and use like a jetpack or something.
Yep.
And then
we
have like a heat shield that we build a wall out or a little bunker out of.
Well, it was like pieces from like the Gorn ship. It was the heat shield from the ship that broke apart or something like that we just kind of repurposed into some kind of shield for them so they wouldn't get cooked right away.
Mm-hmm. Yep, we do it. We ignite the whole planet on fire.
Yep. And
it couldn't be a problem at all.
Boom goes the dynamite.
What does fire eat? Oxygen.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Don't use smarticles, man. Don't do it.
The atmosphere was already thin on this planet, right?
Yeah. Well, and she made that comment like air mostly breathable or something like that, I think, at the beginning of the episode.
Yeah.
So I think that, like, we got to talk about, like, the ship side of stuff because, like, we're at that point where storylines are kind of intersecting, which I think we could probably do this one kind of quick. The whole issue is we saw Ortegas go into this wormhole and we've lost communication with her. So, like, the whole time we're trying to devise a plan, and Uhura is taking upon herself as our communications officer to do the thing. And while everyone else seems to be giving up, they're also concerned about this other mission, their primary mission, which was delivering like vaccines, immunizations, whatever, to this colony that needed it. Some 4,000 folks, I think.
4,000, yeah.
Yeah, of like men, women, and children that needed this type of thing, and like it was under like a pretty strict timeline, basically. And Uhura is like, we can't just give up on her. And Pike doesn't want to give up on her, but he also understands, like, we got to do this. Give me a plan. If the plan checks out, we'll do the thing. She does it. She goes through so many different scenarios, so many simulations, and ends up fudging the numbers to get Pike to do the thing, which he was going to do anyway, we find out. And he knew that she had fudged numbers. And the thing that we had to do was basically wedge ourselves in this thing to kind of keep both sides open so that we could go get her and bring her back, basically.
Okay.
So we go do it.
Has there ever been an episode where every single bridge crew member has annoyed you? Because I was annoyed by all 4 of our principals on the bridge here. Pike, Una, what the was up with Una in this episode?
Yeah.
When the heck did she become a Debbie Downer like this? Literally from the very first moment, she's like, well, obviously she's dead. We gotta go. And it felt like she like gave up instantly, which to me makes no sense whatsoever. I don't know if you guys felt that way, but it's like she was just like, well, we haven't had contact with her for a long time, so she must be dead. So Chris, let's just go. And like Spock was even doing that too. He's like, you're running your things and it's not going to work, so let's just give up instead of, trying something. Like Spock, I get you're logical and there were original series episodes where it seemed like you were making, like, I'm thinking of like the Galileo 7, where it's like maybe one of us isn't going to make it out of here, and that's just something we have to accept. But in the end, I don't think he was ever going to leave anybody behind. And then even Uhura was kind of annoying me here. Like she
sounded like a little
she had
little
almost
kid.
like a Burnham level quality to her in this episode. And I said I was not going to bring up Discovery, anymore. But I don't know if it came across that way to anybody. She's like, I have to be the one to figure this out. I have to do it on my own, and nobody can help me. And if I don't do it, it's not going to be done right. And that, like, Uhura is, yes, she is a bridge officer and I guess a member of the senior staff, but she's still an ensign, right? She's not a newly minted ensign.
Yep.
And there are other people that have more experience. I get she's the communications officer, so she should be involved in trying to get communication. But there's a whole science team, operations team that probably should be leading this effort here, and it kind of came off the wrong way to me.
Yeah, where was Scotty in all this?
He wasn't booked for this show.
Yeah, even though he's a series regular.
But you know who was? Fire guy.
Oh yeah, he got a big old pyrotechnics.
Yeah, man.
Yeah,
Fire guy is doing all right today on this one.
But I do agree with you, Eric. Like, so first of all, whenever there's some sort of dire straits, there's also then a second dire straits. Like, just the idea of the stupid vaccine thing, honestly, was just ticking me off. It's like, for the love of God, like, look, I understand that things happen, but maybe, just maybe, if you had like this crazy run that you had to do and it was really important, maybe you just leave this little mission to the side for later. You put it down in your log. You say, we need to go investigate this, but first we need to get vaccines to 4,000 people to save them.
I was thinking the same thing.
Yeah.
So that was a little
Priorities.
irritating. But to add on to your point, though, the dynamic of the bridge crew was off. It wasn't just that they were reacting differently, but their dynamic was off. They weren't pinging ideas off of each other. They weren't actively engaging each other in, the potential of hope. And that's what was a little bit annoying to me. Like, I could have not had bridge crew very much at all here if that's the way that they're kind of going to be written. Because the whole thing is Pike wanted to do this rescue mission. I don't think there's anybody who didn't want to do the rescue mission, but just the constant barrage of 4,000 people, vaccines, she's probably dead. There's no watch to save her like in Interstellar. We didn't give away the Hamilton, so that she can, come back and do weird things in the past. So it's like, it was weird. The dynamic was just really weird.
Yeah, Pike has been frustrating me this season. I don't
Yeah, it's on
feel
and off.
like a strong leader, like that calming presence that we've seen from him before, reassuring everyone and being that steady hand that you can rely on. I just something is off this season.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. The thing that I was also thinking of too, like, yeah, even though Una was kind of just sounding the way that she was, I mean, there was a mission at hand. Like, yeah, why aren't we prioritizing this and like doing like our side quests later? Like there's plenty of space to explore after you drop off some booster shots or whatever to these folks. But the other thing that I was thinking of too is, unless this is a product of like 24th century Starfleet as opposed to current 23rd century, I was thinking of like the bridge officers like command test. Like you have to be willing to sacrifice like the one for the sake of your ship. And I realize it's not necessarily the same thing, but it kind of is, because we're talking about the safety of the crew, right? Like, why would we put an entire ship, wedging it between these two different space coordinates, basically, like in this wormhole, when we have 4,000 people that are depending on us so they can stand a chance at fighting some kind of pandemic they might be facing on their own planet. So maybe it's not the exact same thing. Like maybe there's not like actual like firing of like weapons on the ship where someone has to sacrifice and like cut the cord, so to speak. But like that's where I was going. Like obviously like Uhura hasn't taken that, but like Pike would have done that. Una potentially would have done that
I feel like she would have had to.
Yeah, I mean, if that type of thing exists at this point in terms of officer development, you'd have to be aware of that. You just would.
Yeah, I just felt like Una went to the gotta sacrifice her way too quickly.
Yeah.
So here's the thing, like we managed to do the thing. It works somehow despite the fudging of numbers. La'an, take a landing party, go do the thing, get her back. Okay? Beams down. Pew pew right away. This is like an official mission. So what are we doing about La'an just pew-pewing in cold blood a Gorn?
Gorn, though. They were the aggressor. I mean, that's not that... To me, that's not that amazing. It's not necessarily in the best of Starfleet, but...
No, God, no.
Well, I think freeze, don't move, not, say something, and then... like, there could have been at least a pause, right? Or a word, freeze, hands up, step back, before you just go pew, pew, pew.
Yeah.
But
yeah,
you need a tragic moment.
Didn't like it. Did not like that at all. I
mean, how else could this episode have ended, though? Like, could the Gorn have come back on the Enterprise and everybody been okay with it? Or, like, did the Gorn have to die?
Well, here's what could have happened. Let's just talk about the Metrons of it all.
Okay.
So we have our space toga-wearing folks who we first saw in Arena, original series. So I know they're not completely Q-like, but they got some Q-ness to them. Hear me out. If these folks can drop two random people into some kind of arena joint thing, like this moon thing, whatever, and then the arena where Kirk and the Gorn captain were, if they can do that and like send them back to wherever, why couldn't there have been a happy ending? Why couldn't this Metron thing have been like, oh, good job, you did the thing. Boom, you're back on the Enterprise, right? And you're not going to have any memory of the stuff. If you're not going to have any memory of the stuff, of like what happened on this rock, why couldn't the Metron have been like, boom, your leg's better, and you've been changed by it. Go do better with your Gorn folks.
But she does have memories of what happened, just not meeting the Metrons.
Yeah, the Metrons was the only thing that got erased from her mind.
Well, still, like if that's the only thing that's erased, why couldn't there have been that happy ending? Like, y'all have been transformed by this. Go back to your people and pass on what you have learned.
Yeah, why couldn't the Metron have frozen time, like right at the moment before the Gorn was hit with the phaser?
Exactly.
Like, okay, stop it right here. Snap your fingers or whatever. Freeze it, and then say, okay, we understand that, like, you bonded, but there's still other people who have to get over their prejudices or whatever. But, you know, you don't have to die because of this.
I think there's two things, and I don't know if I can reason this out particularly well, so forgive me if it doesn't make much sense. The first thing is, while the Metrons are obviously involving themselves, creating this experiment, is it necessarily true that they want to control every single variable? Or is it just the fact that I need to see how this plays out, however it plays out, and that's just history? So is it necessarily that they want to provide an ending at all? It's really more so about seeing point A and point B, how you got there and what the conclusion was. Because the conclusion was Erica and the Gorn somehow overcame their differences, but the human race is still not over that. So it's kind of like seeing what the humans would do. And I don't necessarily think that happy endings are always the best poignant reminder of what you've been through. Like, you think about just how the world works. Most people, I don't want to act like I'm an expert or anything, but I feel like a lot of people tend to learn more in tragedy, or at least have some forward momentum for reaction based upon tragedy than they do based upon a happy ending. Because I feel like happy endings get forgotten very quickly. Does any of that make any sense?
It does.
It does, yeah. I think the thing that I'm going to try and speak to, maybe push back a little bit, is that I know some you guys are probably getting sick of us saying this, and maybe some listeners are sick of it too, but like, we are going to be bumping up to original series pretty soon, which means some of those ideals and like some of that cheesiness, you know, is just kind of be par for the course. The thing, Eric pointed this out a moment ago when we were talking about like the principals on the bridge, like the Enterprise folks, that it just seemed like there was like this lack of kind of hope or optimism or something. And I think that's the thing that's kind of frustrating me about this, is that there was an opportunity for more of it in this. And what greater representation of it in this particular episode. Like, this is like Pike's Enterprise crew's like biggest, baddest enemy. Like the freaking like speedy dinosaurs now. Like, we got freaking velociraptors in space. Holy crap. And yet we made friends with it. Okay, Erica made friends with it, and there could have been that opportunity of like, I see you for who you are. You're not just this freaky, like, scary velociraptor that's going to eat me and like gut me. Like, you got something about you too. So there could have been that, man. Like, that's what I'm getting at. Like, there could have been more hope and optimism on the ship. There could have been more hope and optimism for the future and like future partnerships potentially between the Gorn and humanity.
Yeah, and Arena as an episode has a hopeful ending, right? You look and you say Kirk the whole episode. He's like, I have to resist my reaction to think of him as just a creature, a monster. I have to remember this is a starship captain who's intelligent. And then at the end, Kirk chooses not to kill the Gorn captain. Right, he literally has the opportunity, chooses not to, and that's when the Metrons come in and say, we see great promise out of you. You have somehow passed this test, and we will let you go on and explore. Right, and so I guess I look at Arena as a hopeful episode. I don't look at this as a hopeful episode because I don't see... Yes, Ortegas has somehow maybe learned to view everybody as not a monster, but nobody else has. Like, La'an isn't going to change her mind. I don't think Pike is going to change his mind. The Metrons are clearly not looking at humans and Gorns in a positive light at the end of here, right? Because they say, we have to do further study, right? We haven't learned enough here. We haven't decided somehow if you're worthy.
But this is the other thing that's like kind of frustrating, Eric, is like the Metrons, they said they've been in this like area of space since before, we were upright or whatever. Mm-hmm. So if I'm getting my numbers right, my years right, this is 2261, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay.
And Arena, I believe, takes place in 2267. You're telling me that in such a short span of time that the Metrons are going to change their mind about giving humanity another chance in terms of growth? Really?
Yeah, but I think that while I don't know how intentional it is, but if you really wanted to stretch things a little bit and make connections, so you had your point A and point B in this story, but what if this point B now becomes point A, and then the point B is Kirk's story? So in those I just forgot your dates. Was it 7 years?
6 years, basically.
6 years. So what if in those 6 years, Ortegas has to make a report. She's probably going to talk to more people about it. So, like, what if that is the catalyst to say that, maybe the Federation in general could start to think a little differently, and thus facilitating a secondary experiment on the human race? Because, like, it's been kind of put out there before, humans move fast. So maybe this story had to end in tragedy so that there could be a bloom of hope for once you get into Arena. But the other problem here is, and like, it can't be understated because this series told us that the Gorn are conquerors and they use people as breeding sacks. So, like, I kind of have a bit of a hard time thinking about, like, being hopeful when that is what we know. I mean, if effectively they are the boogeyman. They're not the Klingons that we can kind of talk to and they just have this high weird code of honor, or the Romulans that are just kind of devious. They're literally using people for breeding stock. It's Alien, essentially.
Sure.
We didn't sit there and talk to Alien. We tried to kill it. know what I mean? So I'm just thinking that maybe this story did have to end in tragedy to put an exclamation point, so that as you move forward through the years, you can kind of try and learn a bit from that. The only issue is we're probably not going to see that, so maybe if you had a follow-up later on and you kind of could march to that or something, maybe it would be more like the stories would connect a little bit more.
I don't think we're gonna get another story to connect that to Arena with the Metrons. I think that's just it.
Yeah,
I think we're just putting more Star Trek in Star Trek.
Mm-hmm.
I know that I do have a serious question though about and then we can move on with like the last scene and then other stuff. But like one of the things I think that was made, was it this episode or was it Arena or both? Basically just seeing how like humanity may evolve over the next 1,000 years or
1,000 years
or whatever. Regardless of how we may feel about it, I'm curious what y'all think about how a story within the Discovery era, whether it's like Star Trek Discovery, it's a Starfleet Academy, or something else, could potentially bookend like some kind of Metron story like this.
I don't need this story, right? I know, hey, 10,000 years, right? You may be able to join us, right? Same thing the Organians, right? And Errand of Mercy said, maybe in how thousands of years, you might be willing, you might be ready. Like, I don't need to see that because it's so far advanced that I think we'll essentially be magic people by then.
Another thing that just popped in my head. Why in the heck do we have to keep impressing a bunch of omnipotent races? Why do we keep having to do that? Like, how many are out there, and why do we keep having to please them?
Well, as a child, don't you want to continually impress the older generation?
Well, I suppose, but how many older generations do we need?
The ancient ones are out there, right? They're 5 races, or they're 4 races, right?
The Nox.
Yeah.
Well, we've got 3, right? We've got the Q, we've got the Metrons, we've got the Organians. Who's our 4?
Can we just say the Medusans just to kind of round it out?
Or we've got the artificial AI people from first season of Star Trek Picard. We got to impress them.
Yeah. All right, so we get Ortegas back on the ship, and she smells, and you see like the tension, you hear the tension, you feel the tension. La'an's my friend, the Gorn was my friend, not sure what to do, you're gonna be okay. Scene.
And we see the little piece,
little rock that she was supposed to eat.
Yeah,
her bone or whatever.
It's gonna be her flute.
Yep.
Right? I mean, that's the whole
basically.
point of it. I don't know why you laughed.
No, I just think it's fun. It's Star Trek knickknacks. Everybody's got to have a knickknack.
Sure.
Yeah. All right, guys. Well, we've talked this episode to death. Let's just roll right into Delta. So, how well do you think the different divisions of Starfleet were represented in this episode?
I feel like command was just lacking, right? The bridge crew, the dynamics were off. I just didn't feel a strong sense of leadership from them. It just fell off.
Sure.
So I don't see command there.
Okay.
Obviously, I think like Ortegas gets a lot of credit for her operations and engineering, like knowing her training and knowing what to do and being able to okay, here's a checklist of things I got to do. Let's get to it. So I think I want to give her a lot of credit for the things that she did in this episode, right?
Yeah, I agree.
Operations, engineering, science, all of those things.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Yeah, definitely. I agree. Like the command just seems kind of iffy at best, but certainly like the science and like the engineering stuff, for sure.
Agreed.
All right, let's get into I guess the rating. So on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being a dumpster fire, 10 being absolutely amazing, how do you rate this? I think Eric went first last time. David, do you mind kicking us off?
Yeah. So I will probably be the odd person out here
Cool.
because I actually liked the episode quite a bit. I kind of enjoyed the viewing. I agree that it is a massive rehash. Therefore, it can't go super high because originality, I think, has to be a part, especially when we were looking, back at season 1 and season 2 and some of the decisions that were made there. But, one, it was an Ortega-centric episode, which we were all talking about wanting. 2, she was able to show us that she's more than just a pilot. She's just more than just flying the ship. I think that the bridge crew stuff was wonky. It was a little annoying. But I think that the core sort of story with just Ortegas going through the situation she was in, coming up with creative solutions, I think it embodies kind of what Star Trek in general is, which is why at the beginning, Chase, when you had asked your question that you had, it's like, no, it's definitely Star Trek. I mean, if you don't like Star Trek, I don't think you're going to like this episode at all. But I think it gave us some of the stuff that we wanted, maybe just not in the right package. And I would have liked to have seen a little bit more of the actual dealing with trauma more so than kind of being forced into it. To use Eric's example of Walking Dead, just kind of that way. So, it's not anywhere near perfect, but for me, I actually really enjoyed the episode overall. So, man, I think that I'm going to give it. I think I'm going to give it a 7-9 because I just, I think that there are some things that they could have been more original on. Knowing Bridge Crew was a little bit there, but for me, it's a very watchable episode. I think the ending was the way that I would have liked it to be. I just, I think that the thing that would reinforce this episode is that if we ever came back to it more, I just don't think we will.
Okay. All right, David. Eric, how about you, brother?
Well, yeah, after everything that we've said here, I don't hate this episode. I think the idea, like Enemy Mine, is a good idea. And the fact that, Star Trek has done it and revisited it, through different contexts is a strength of the basic story. And I like the basic story here of, we're taking a character that we haven't gotten a lot from, and we're putting them in a situation where they have to deal with something that's like important to them, and that's been, kind of dragging them down. And I liked to see how they interacted. And did it do something super original? No, but not every episode has to be like the most crazy original thing. I did get frustrated seeing so many episodes being remakes, but I liked it. It was well made. Like the bridge crew thing did really throw me off, and the ending where we just unceremoniously kill the Gorn maybe could have been handled differently. But I did not hate this episode. I don't think it's like a terrible episode by any stretch of the imagination. I think it's a vast improvement over like last week's episode. I mean, I think it's a 7.
Eric thinks it's a 7. Okay. So, for me, I didn't hate this episode either. And I'm actually a little encouraged seeing these numbers coming in so far. I found myself enjoying the episode, and like the where are they gonna go of it all at different points. But I was very happy, like you guys, that we got an Ortegas episode finally. And that her dialogue evolved from something more than just I fly the ship, or I'm the pilot and I fly the ship. That we had a intelligent, authentic, competent officer doing their thing, which was good. I was telling my wife, in preparation for watching this, like that I really liked the episode, but I got problems in the sense of, it's not completely original like you guys are saying. I mean, I think the comment, one of the recurring comments that we've had, especially this season, has been how these episodes have reminded us of other things. Right, like I have a comment, or I have some notes here on the spreadsheet that we keep, where Wedding Bell Blues, Squire of Gothos, even, what was it? What is Starfleet was basically Insurrection and Encounter at Farpoint. And this week was a prequel / remake of Arena, especially with the Metrons showing up at the end, and we're using basically the same parts, right? We're using Metrons, we're using Gorn, and we're using humans all over again. So I like the message, like you're saying, Eric, like with the whole enemy mine thing, kind of like how we've done it at different points in Trek. And I think we said it before, what was that? Darmok. We had Dawn, like with Trip, and I forget what the guy's name was, but
from Dawn.
Yeah, from Dawn.
I don't know, but we also had it with Geordi and the Romulan.
Yes,
the enemy.
Yep. What about the Quickening? That was Deep Space Nine. Would that count?
No, because the Quickening is that episode where people are infected with some virus.
That's right.
And they want to be euthanized when they get the markings.
That's right.
Julian thinks he can cure it in like 2 days.
Okay. Anyway, the point is, like it's been pointed out, like we've already done this kind of thing, but I did enjoy this, and this is an episode that I would not mind watching again. It's got some goofy stuff to it, but Trek's gonna have some goofy stuff, and I'm okay with it. I came in with one number, and I think I'm going to come down just a little lower than what I was coming in with. I'm personally okay with. Let me think about this real quick. You know what? No, I'm going to go with my original number, which kind of creates a little bit of a challenge with a previous rating that I had earlier in the season, but that's okay. I was thinking an 8 originally. This could have been higher for me had we not rehashed Arena, if I'm being honest. had we just changed some things and not made it so directly connected to such a well-known episode of Star Trek, this could have ranked much higher for me. Maybe not for y'all, but certainly for me. So I'm going to go with an 8 on this. I mean, I think I'm looking at my rating. I kind of like this more than Through the Lens of Time. But that's okay. Which I gave Through the Lens of Time an 8 as well. But looking at these numbers, guys, I mean, we're all more or less right in the same area, kind of. We have an 8 from myself, 7.9 from David, and a 7 from Eric, which gives this episode an average of 7.6.
I think I needed to take a nap before this episode. I don't know. I was hearing a lot of things. I thought I was going to be higher than y'all for whatever reason. I don't know.
Yeah, I didn't think Chase was going to be that high either.
No.
It's just like we picked it apart, and then we were all like, it wasn't a bad episode.
I mean, I was definitely apparently grumpy with the last two, but like the last two were not good.
Yeah.
Anyway, I do want to return. I know that we've been kind of going a little while, but I want to be kind of quick with this. So, you know what? I'm going to table this. We'll do this for next time with the finale. So we'll just make a point of talking about mid-season stuff during the finale when we have like the full ratings at that point. But I don't know. Any final thoughts before we pull into Space Dock, guys?
We're almost there. We're more than halfway there. We're more than living on a prayer.
Oh boy. All right, John.
We're more than halfway there.
Yes, we are. We are basically there.
We're almost there.
Whoa. All right, guys. Well, as always, thanks for the conversation, and everyone else. I hope you enjoyed Terrarium. Whether you did or didn't, let us know if you feel like it. You can connect with us. trtvpod@gmail.com or send us a short message to 817-752-4757. Other than that, if you want to, mail us something like snacks, make sure you get to the Lone Star Station, P.O. Box 2455, Azle, Texas 76098. Everyone, thank you so much for tuning in. And as always, remember to boldly go and make it so.